quite a nice sunny day here in Brisbane. Cool weather and warm weather during the day. So I think we're just on that cusp of moving into spring, and then summer's very closely around the corner for us.
That's fantastic. I just mentioned that I really like your background. And I think this is your inspiration for today. And I think you're doing so well that you apparently were very inspired this time around to build up something beautiful for Australian writers, because as we all know, Jack is actually the writer himself, and as far as I can see his Instagram goes, he's becoming a very successful writer, because he's doing a lot of books distribution of The Angels Wept. Is it true?
Yeah, things are going really well with my first book that's been published. I've got book 2 and book 3 in the series to go, and I've recently signed a traditional publishing deal for a 4th book that I wrote. So I've got a lot of little writing projects on the go. So things are going very well.
That's fantastic. So, Jack, just before we start talking about your beautiful and new journey and baby, which is Aus Reads and this platform for the writers across Australia, I just read something in your Instagram that fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. Well, you're doing fiction. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I've seen something similar before, and I saw that, and I thought I had to share it, because it's the whole issue around what's more credible, fiction or non-fiction, and I suppose there's some still great non-fiction stories out there. There's some incredible stories, but the beauty of fiction, you can really feel like you can tell the truth without the constraints of having to identify individual people. So that's I suppose that's what that analogy is about. It's about writing fiction can still send across really truthful key themes about humanity, and you can really be brutally honest when you're writing fiction. Even though your story might be fictional and your characters are fictional, the underlying themes can be brutally honest, and sometimes they're things you can't really talk about when you're talking about real people or when you're talking about non-fiction.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And just also want to remind everyone who's watching, I can see a couple of people watching now, that it's a live chat, so you will be able to maybe drop your questions, and we will be able to answer questions if there are any questions. And you also will be able to watch later on YouTube and through all the platforms across. So let's begin. Today, I just want to talk about your new journey, about your new baby, and I don't know if it's a baby or teenager already, or it's pretty much the platform for Aussie writers that you created is so-called Aus Reads. So can you just tell me more about it? What is this platform is about? What the major objective of this platform?
So you'll see the computer screens behind me before the screens time out and go into sleep mode. So I just pop them up.
That's right.
Aus Reads Facebook page and the Aus Reads website. So the website is aus-reads.com. Really, where it came from, it was a bit of a brainchild of mine. I was doing a lot of research in terms of how I do marketing for my own book, and when I was looking into it, I also came across some websites where there were platforms for authors to pay money to have their books listed on these book catalogs, and I kind of felt that wasn't real great value for money for authors to pay money to have their books listed on these websites, where probably people weren't coming to those sites anyway to buy their books. So I just double check you can still hear me. Just make sure the connection is still okay.
Yes, yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect. So what I came across this idea is it was an amalgamation of other ideas and websites that are out there, where it's a platform for Australian authors, whether they're traditionally or independently published authors, can come onto this platform and by publishing blog articles about themselves as an author, about their journey as a writer, challenges, advice for other writers, events coming up. By contributing blog articles about themselves, they're more likely to pique interest in readers who might want to then go ahead and click on their book cover and buy their book. So it's very much about collaboration with other authors. It's a network of authors. So what I've done is created the platform, and I'm asking all our contributing authors to contribute blog articles. And by doing so, we all share those blog articles. So if I can see you've got it up on screen now. If you were to open any one of those blog articles, at the bottom of each blog article, the featured authors have got their book covers at the bottom. So it's giving the contributing authors exposure to their books. So when people read the blog articles, they'll find out more about the author, but you'll also see listed down the right-hand column and also down the bottom the book covers of the featured authors. And the incentive for the authors to contribute, and what I say to them is, you will only get the benefit based on how much you contribute. So if you're prepared to contribute, you will maximise the benefit from being on it. You publish a blog article, and then all the authors who are in the network will share that on their respective Facebook pages. So what we're seeing is, rather than just doing promotional things on your own Facebook page, which by all means you need to continue to do, this is an extra tool in your toolbox to add an extra layer to your marketing. So we will post your blog article onto the Aus Reads website. It will be shared onto the Aus Reads Facebook page. And then we ask our network of authors to also share that article on their respective pages. So you get that exponential exposure, far greater exposure to your books than what you would just going it alone. So if you treat this whole platform as a network, it's a network of authors who are collaborating, they're sharing each other's work, they're forming a partnership to help each other promote their work. And so really that's all I've done. I've just created the platform, and then all the authors contribute content which we all share to help each other out.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. And basically, what's your network at this stage? How many authors do you have across on your platform? Like, it could be just not exact number, but around like from like 10, 20, hundreds.
At this stage, we've got over 40 authors who have signed up, and these are authors who are actively contributing and providing blog articles, and we certainly have room to continue to grow. We started small to kind of test the system and to see how it works and to iron out some bugs, and we haven't really had to advertise all that much. People are starting to seek us out, and we will continue to advertise. And what I would do is certainly appeal to any Australian author out there who has a Facebook page, because you really need a Facebook page to be able to share the content of the other authors. That's really the whole point of the whole exercise, is that we share each other's articles on our respective Facebook pages. So you need to have an online seller platform for your book. You need to be published either independently or traditionally. And you need to be willing to share the work of other authors and also be willing to contribute blog articles on topics relating to writing. So that little bit of effort you put into writing just a very short blog article, you'll find that you'll get far greater benefits by doing that. And it's a great investment in time, as opposed to just putting content onto your own channel. So we will share that content for you.
Yeah, so it's basically building a community, right? Rather than feeling like you're on by yourself trying to share your content, you're actually part of the group, you're part of the community where people are actually supporting you, and they think the same, they feel the same, it's about communal kind of journey as well, rather than being on your own. And I guess this is like probably your passion. That's where it comes along, that you're a writer yourself. You want to also be part of something bigger, and you can create a bigger community as well and help others. This is absolutely fantastic. Well, I have a question to you, because obviously you would have a lot of submissions, for example, on your website, and how would you would still have to identify the honesty, the real author, the real writer, the talented writer. Do you have any criteria how you can actually say, oh yeah, you're good to go, or look, your content is not quite enough yet to get there, but I'll keep you in mind? Do you have this sort of a criteria? How would you allow those people to join the community, or you just join everyone who wants to join?
Yeah, we try to keep this as broad as possible. It's certainly not an exclusive club. You don't have to meet a certain threshold. But there are certain things we would ask of you. So the expectation is that you do have a published book. So you've either independently published your book, and you've, I think ideally you've got also paperbacks as well. But at least if you've got an ebook that's been published, you've got an active author platform on social media. That's also important, because that's the whole point, is to have the ability to share the content of other authors, and the willingness to write interesting and engaging blog articles. And we're talking maybe one blog article maybe once a month. You know, we're talking about something that might be a 2 or 3 minute read, a 1-page blog article where you're talking about your writing experiences, tips, advice, events coming up, any topic really that's of interest to you that relates to writing, that other readers and writers might be interested in, to learn about you. Because what I would say to the authors, this is about promoting yourself as an author, not just your books. I think as authors we can get caught into the trap of just posting pics of our books and buy my book, and it's all about, you know, trying to get sales for our books. But we need to promote ourselves as authors, and I think if we can pick the interest in ourselves through writing interesting blog articles about us and what we've got going on, people might be more interested to join. So we definitely have a broad range of genres. We go across a whole range of genres, whether it be crime and thrillers or true crime, historical, romance, fantasy. So we have a very broad range of books, and really if authors are prepared to contribute and participate in the network, we're not really looking to sort of turn people away. We'd like to get people to contribute. So there's really no standard that we're looking for. Obviously we're looking for that have been professionally published, you know, that is it has progressed to the stage where, you know, it's good content for our site. But if authors feel that they've got to that point where they've now got their books published, well, we'll certainly be very happy to share that for them.
Well, it's actually a great idea, and I think it's a lot like a little sort of probably opportunity comes along. You can actually, because you've got a page at the moment, Aus Reads, right? You've got a whole page on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
It's not a group; it's a page. As far as I know, it's also could come along like creating a group where you can, because when you create a group, it's actually, you can see the views, the amount of views, and who actually looked into that particular content. It's actually could be even another option in future, because your group will just expand more and more, because we have a lot of writers in Australia who would want to just join the group and then they might join the blog. So it could be like a vice versa option as well, but something maybe to consider. So basically there's not too many requirements to join. It's fantastic, and it's also free, correct? So there's no membership fee, there's no subscription fee or anything like that, so it's perfect. And it's amazing.
There's no fee. It's purely about, you know, if authors are willing to do just a little bit of work by writing some blog articles, you know, they will get back to the same level that they put in. If they're not really prepared to contribute and not participate, they're probably not going to get much out of being involved. But if they're willing to write the occasional blog article and to share the work of other authors, we'd love to have them on board.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So at this stage, I guess you can help them in various ways and in various situations. So they publish, say, books, they publish, say, articles and stuff like that. So do you think that particular website, because in my mind, it's also a huge perspective for people who actually love books. This is another kind of sort of market and another your target sector where you can put the focus on. So once you build all this community, say you've got, I don't know, thousands of writers on your website, this is an opportunity for book lover or like, you know, any genre to say, all right, we know there's a website. We don't want to look on Google and trying to figure it out who is writing what. I'll just go to Aus Reads and I'll find the writer I want to read the book. So do you think it's a huge opportunity for book lovers of the website? That's another niche, another target sector.
Yeah, so even though the site has been made predominantly for authors to showcase their work, it's also a one-stop shop for readers to come to. If you go to the homepage of the website, it's got a book catalogue, all Australian authors. So you can go to that book catalogue, choose an author that appeals to you, and we try and keep that up to date. There's not only new authors, there's also bestsellers up there as well. And so, you know, we're promoting work across Australia and all different types of authors. You can go on it, click on it, and it'll take you straight to their online seller platform. So it definitely is a one-stop shop for readers to come to, and that's what we like to sort of promote this as, not only a platform for authors but for readers as well. And you see that if you go into the homepage of the website, that book catalogue.
That's amazing, because as far as I can see, it goes to like Amazon. Yeah, like say for example, if you click on one of those readers, the books like on your website, you click on it and it's just going straight away to Amazon. So it's an absolutely incredible opportunity for writers to pretty much your platform, in a way it's like a middleman between e-commerce website and actually. Yes, so it's like a bridge between, for them, a potential to not just only promote but also sell the book, basically. So
most, I think everyone would agree that Amazon is the most common platform in the world for people to sell their books, even if they have hard copy or paper copy paperbacks. They're still selling on Amazon. So we generally will link to the Amazon, but it doesn't have to be Amazon. It can be their preferred online seller or their own website. So the authors can choose which online seller platform we link it to. But it's creating a portal, and we're driving traffic. People that may not have otherwise seen these books will see it through. Generally, the traffic will be drawn to the website through Facebook when they see our blogs and they've been shared by all the authors, and they click and they'll be taken to the website. And again, if you're an author and you've written a blog site, your book cover is going to be on that blog site along with all the other featured authors. So you're going to get great exposure just by writing. Your effort is really sharing other authors and writing the occasional short blog article, and you'll get great benefits by doing that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I actually didn't ask you a very interesting and probably the fundamental question. So how did it all happen for you? Like in the morning, you're waking up and you're saying to yourself, Jack, I want to create the platform for other writers. How did that moment happen? Like, do you remember that moment when you actually, so I'm a former detective, I'm a professional writer now, I'm selling the books now myself. All right, now this is the time. Do you remember that moment in yourself?
I was looking at other websites and I was really trying to come up with an idea of what's something that's got its own point of difference. What's something a little bit different to what's already out there? And what you'll find is people, authors who are desperate to have exposure will go and pay money to have their books listed on websites. I felt, well, authors shouldn't have to do that. Whereas if they're prepared to contribute, let's build something where authors are part of a network, and they're just, instead of just rather paying a fee for a service, they're contributing and they're benefiting based on the amount of work they're willing to contribute. So I come up with this basic concept. I've done some blogging before and had done a fair bit of research around marketing, and I felt, well, this is great. It's a win-win for everyone. There's no gimmick, there's no catch. It's purely about, if you contribute and you share the work of other authors, you will benefit by doing so. So I thought, well, that's fairly unique, certainly here in Australia, and we're focused just on Australian authors. So I found that by networking with other authors is a great way to get your name out there and to really form partnerships and to help each other out. So this was really just a way of formalising what I was already doing anyway with my networks that I'd already formed. So I thought, what better way to do that than to create a platform where people can actively engage. And you spoke before about a Facebook group, and that's the next phase that will occur, is that we've currently got a Facebook page and the website, but we'll also create a Facebook group where the authors can contribute and join and directly communicate with each other, and give each other advice and assist each other with book reviews and a whole range of things they can do, and they can feel part of a real team of authors. So that's the next phase that we're going to expand to.
Yeah, I think it will just explode, because a lot of people, you've got a very clear message, Australian writers, Australian communities, and I think there's nothing else you can't be more clear on that. I think with the keywords choosing, with the goal, with objective, and any writers who are going to watch us, they should just join you, because it's a free platform and it's an opportunity for them to get another channel to shine. So it's absolutely clear message for everyone in Australia who's writing and who loves writing, or a professional writer. they should just join you. So because I'm sure it will just explode. You know, it should.
Simple concept. As I said, there's no catch to it. It's a very simple concept. You contribute, we'll share, and you'll get exposure for your book. And that's really what it was about, just getting a point of difference. That's something a little bit different. And when I first built it, I wasn't sure what sort of level of interest there would be and how much take up. And again, I haven't really had to advertise, and I'm getting so much interest already. And I know authors are saying we're all so busy, we don't have time to write blog articles. So we really are appealing to more so the authors who are already who are already currently writing blog articles, and they're quite happy to write blog articles or would like to in the future. Again, we're only asking for maybe one a month, and it only has to be like a one-pager. So you think about any social media posts that you might be doing now, it's probably not much less than a blog article anyway. So just for the sake of investing maybe another hour of your time, you're going to get a far greater exposure to writing that. So we are getting a lot more interest than I anticipated, and people are making contact with me, and I've had meetings, and there's certainly great potential for this to really explode into something huge for Australian authors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good and interesting, and I think it's got a purpose and it's got a huge objective, and I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. What do you think? What does it take to become a well-known and successful writer in Australia, in your opinion?
Well, I guess, I mean, we look at benchmarks recently, the likes of Trent Dalton and Jane Harper, who are fantastic Australian authors. Jane Harper's had a movie made from her first book with Eric Banner. The Dry was the name of that book. And Trent Dalton has had Boy Swallows Universe and All Our Shimmering Skies, and he's got a theatre production has been made out of his first book. So I guess for every author, that's kind of the benchmark of success, being signed by a major Australian or international publishing company where you get your books in every bookstore around the country, and you get your books on shelves internationally, and you get your books changed to different languages. So I think that for all authors, probably for every 1,000 authors, there's maybe one that has that reaches, or maybe it's probably the figures are even more than that. For every 10,000 aspiring authors, there's one that reaches that level of success. And we're all aspiring for some level of success, whether that's selling books or just having people read our books. You know, we all have different ideas of what's a success. For me, my judge of what success is people. If I have one person who says, I loved your book, for me, I feel I'm a success. It's not about making money or selling 1 million copies. It's purely about getting feedback from readers who say, I love your writing. And that's what inspires me to keep going. So I think to be successful is probably, I mean, I'm still aspiring. I'm still on that journey myself, and I still have a long way to go. Like all of us, it's a real grind, and it's lonely work at times. But I think there's a bit of luck involved. But certainly you need to write well, and you need to have done writing courses. You need to be able to pitch your work properly to agents and publishers, and so you need to have that level of quality to get picked up. And you know, there's been plenty of excellent books out there that have been turned down by publishers. We've all heard of those stories. And J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, had been rejected 30 or 40 times before she was eventually picked up. So you know, I think there is probably some degree of luck, persistence, hard work, and also creating quality content. And if it can be picked up by a publishing company or an author, you're on your way to success.
Yeah, that's a good summary, actually. You know, I like the way you're summarizing things. It's incredible how you're putting everything in one kind of sort of on one plate. It's great. Just the last question I want to ask you, and it's probably something I noticed on your Instagram as well, that obviously now you're selling to some book clubs, as far as I can see. Like, so your books, the Angel Swept, we've spoken last time about. So you're selling in the book clubs. Is it correct?
Yeah, I had a recent book launch here in Brisbane at a bookstore, and some people purchased a copy of my book, and then they handed it to one of their local book clubs, and then they liked it, and they decided to buy a whole bunch of copies. So all the members of the book club are reading that book, and hopefully in future I'll go and speak to the book club members. We'll discuss my book, and I've also been approached by another local bookshop who have got my books on their shelves to attend one of the local crime writers meetings to talk to local people who are reading my book. So I think if you really need to be willing to put yourself out there and attend these little presentations, and if you get the opportunity to do a book launch at a bookstore or to to speak at a book club. You know, it might only be 10 people, but those people will talk and they'll share their books, and you just have to be prepared to do that grind and just, you know, pound the flesh and speak to people and make yourself available for meetings and little book groups. And I think as time goes on, you slowly start to get that cut through and success.
Maybe we can, when it's all the lockdown situation is over, maybe we can see you in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Maybe you can come to Melbourne to do some interstate presentations of your book, and you know, to expand capacity across presentations, not just in Brisbane, which is fantastic already, but do something, you know, make us feel that there's a writer here. We want to ask questions, and come to Melbourne or Sydney or, I don't know, Hobart, for example, Adelaide. Do you have the plans like that to extend your capacity?
Maybe one day, maybe when the borders are open again and we're back to some sort of normal, that's fantastic. But at the moment, I suppose we're all confined to our own backyards right now. So I suppose that's good to grow a local following. So it's a good opportunity to grow your following locally, and then would love to do some work interstate if there's an opportunity.
Yeah, well, I would love to see you here in Melbourne. That would be great. So what I would like to ask you in the end, after this chat, could you please pop it in the link to your Amazon, to the bookstore where we can buy your book? So everyone who just let's do it directly, and so people know where to go straight away. Just after this chat, put it in underneath the link, and whoever's watching, they will be able to click and check it out. How does it sound?
That sounds great. I'll happy to do that. And thanks again. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you again for our second interview. And thanks so much for what you and Ubizblog are doing to help us promote what we're doing and to collaborate. So thank you for your time as well. All the best with all the great projects you've got coming up.
Thank you so much. You have a lovely, lovely weekend, and hopefully we can chat in future again.
Yeah,
waiting for the
absolutely.
new more more books. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
It's been great. See you later. All the best.
Bye.